Now, we come to our final speaker of the day, a slightly different format here, in that I'm going to have a conversation with Alex Xu, who's the former CEO of Leyou Technologies. Hello there, Alex.
Hi. Hi. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, and you too.
Can you hear me?
Before. Yes, I can hear you perfectly. Yeah, it's always good to meet new people on these calls, and thank you for freeing up some time today to have a conversation with me. We have a very participative audience here, but I get the pleasure of talking to you and asking you some questions. So firstly,
my pleasure.
For the audience, just to let you know a little bit about the background for Leyou, moved into games in 2013 and really quickly established themselves as a major force in the games industry in China and globally. They went through an acquisition phase, acquiring Digital Extremes in Canada, and then they bought our very own UK studio Splash Damage down in southeast London, and then made an investment in Certain Affinity in the US. Following on from that, they established their own publisher, Athlon, and they secured the rights to an online game based within the Lord of the Rings universe. And on the back of all of this expansion and growth and investment, Leyou actually became a target for acquisition themselves. And back in December 2020, Tencent bought Leyou Technologies for just over $1.4 billion. So it's been quite a ride for you, Alex, this progression and growth of the company. So thank you for joining us today. Just a start-off question. We've heard a lot today about the importance of mobile in China, but you're slightly different. You've been working on that ambition to be AAA and to be premium. What's been your motivation for looking at that particular market?
Thank you. So you see, Leyou is relatively young, but I'm actually the very first game developer in China mainland. So it's been 27 years. I've seen this whole gaming industry in China from its very start. And in the very start stage, we don't have PC at home even. We don't have console. We have nothing. We play, we don't have mobile. So I see gamers. They want the games to. Most of the best gamers, if they want to pay for games, they want more immersive experiences. They don't want to be disturbed by advertisement. When you watch a movie, you cannot allow any advertisement during the movie, right? So yeah, I think that's the eventual state. Eventually people want an immersive feeling when they play high quality games. So why mobile games are super popular these recent years is because when PC was trying to penetrate into lower tier cities in China, the majority of the potential users in China, smartphones came in the middle. We still don't have enough PC penetration in most of the potential users. Then smartphones came in. We still didn't have enough penetration of the console into the majority of the potential users. The Chinese government regulation came in. So we always have these kind of a stop point, hard stop point for people to be able to easier reach the game contents by internet cafes or smartphones. We always have these kind of in continuation, is stop point. But the players, the users, they always want this kind of content. That never changed. It's just because of the situation of the society. So I think eventually mobile markets, smartphone market created more potential user base for higher quality contents. So we are ready here to cultivate those more users to come to higher level quality type of games eventually, whether cross-platform or cloud-based gaming, or government release the ban. The people have access to high-end PC and high-end consoles, eventually, what is going to be lacked is content, right? So we have to be able to, have more content waiting there for these new user base coming in. So I'm always trying to do something relatively earlier ahead of these giant companies like Tencent, to enable them to be able to willing to buy me, or else I don't hope I can compete with them. I have no hope. I can be EA, Activision, maybe possible, but maybe next step for me. But when we start doing something from scratch, we want to be able to set up something to be able to make them interested to acquire you in 3 to 5 years. So you have to see a little bit ahead of time. That's why I want to go to this high-end games.
And it's fascinating that perhaps even the growth of mobile and then the desire to get better quality on mobile is going to feed back into console and PC in the future. So it's interesting how the market works. And you have been a little bit ahead of the market. There's no doubt about that. But in the last year, 18 months, lots of things have changed in the global games market. So I'm interested to hear your view on perhaps some of the changes caused by lockdown. Have there been any changes in the market throughout that period? And perhaps how is that going to continue in the future? So I'm sorry, I'm asking you to really gaze into the future here. So a big challenge.
It's always the most interesting thing I am always watching in the international market, not only in China, but I think that the COVID lockdown is a little bit less affected China market. We see a boom like the whole world in early last year, but the second half start from May and June, we all back to normal already in China. But more, no doubt, more users worldwide, even China. We have more users already, evolved the habit to play more games at home. That is going to continue, I think. More gamers are coming into this industry for the first time. They know the good feeling of playing a high-end game. When you are locked down at home, maybe you want to try some high-end video games using your TV versus you go outside, use your smartphone. I think that will speed up more users like relatively high-end games. And people tend to spend longer time playing console games versus if they want to continue play a console game for longer than 2 hours per day, they didn't have enough time. And now they experience the different feeling, relatively different feeling of, let's play 3 hours a day, right? on console, on the live service based online game on console. I think play online games on console with more friends, with longer time. So spend longer time living in virtual world, so-called metaverse, is going to be a forever trend. And more players will spend more time living in virtual world versus in the physical world, because they found in the virtual world they can have more fun. So this is going to be a clear trend, and won't stop, won't get back. That's my
observation. We all want more fun, don't we? We all want more fun. There's no doubt about it. And this is what interactive entertainment is all about. Also, thinking about our particular audience here today, lots of small and medium-sized developers and publishers based in the UK and some of our partners in Europe. Have you got any guidance for any particular sort of Western developed content that you think would work well in China, either has worked well or could work well in the future?
Oh, it is changing even in China market as well. So in early years, premium games, a one-time sale type of games coming into China it was extremely hard, because you have to go through all the process getting a license, and then you have only one chance to make money, and there was no console install base here, and people don't have high-end PC at home, and internet cafes already owned by all those online profitable generating companies force the internet cafe owners to only promote online games there. So there's no way for you to be able to sell those type of premium games. But these years, people are starting getting, more and more buying games on Steam. The Chinese version of Steam, it's a vague territory, You don't have to have a license, but you can still sell Chinese version games there. We don't see there's a near possibility or near hear anything from the government. It is going to be shut down. Even the Chinese version Steam already launched, but no one told us it is going to be shut down. So be careful. If you want to do some high quality premium games, you want to get some money from China, you can still use that channel, but be careful. Don't touch the most sensitive thing, which the Chinese GAPP license won't allow that happen. The political related things, right? And the best idea is try learn from the Chinese designers, learn how to do live service games, learn like Warframe. Why Warframe got so successful? Because they continuously push content into the game, and there are endless ways of paying to pay to the game, and you will be able to have continuous revenue stream instead of only just one. Or pure PvP game like PUBG also make huge money. Even PUBG is a premium game. You don't have to rely on full microtransactions, but eventually, if you have a large user base, you can always find a way to sell microtransactions. Even you just sell Battle Pass. Battle Pass is just a DLC sliced in a relatively smaller slices, right? So if you know how to make DLC, my advice is try to slice it into relatively smaller ones. Try to outsource most of your content creation, asset creation to cheaper places, to give smaller pieces of updates like live service cycles faster. Like every month you have a small update, and every season you have a big one. Every half a year, every year you have huge one. So you stage your update better than the previous DLCs model. DLC, people make DLCs 2 years, right? You make the very first game 3 to 5 years, and every DLC you spend another 18 months or 24 months. That's too long. Try to design your game into that small cycle. That is the best way coming into China, make continuous revenue, make your user base live, continuously, never leave your game. That's the best way get into
it's
China.
Interesting. We're talking about consumers with short attention spans, so you need to keep feeding them and keep giving them the content so they keep playing your game. It's fascinating, really interesting.
Yeah, if you succeed on PC in that way, it can be way easier for you to port onto mobile. You don't have to rely on Tencent to redesign and redo your whole game into a live service type of game to be able to suit mobile. If you can do that on PC already, you can launch on console without any problem, and you can just port onto mobile. And even you can do cross play, right? Cross-platform play. That's easier. So start your game design from this kind of mindset, then you will have less trouble porting into mobile. And a lot of Chinese users are using smartphones as PC, as console. Because smartphones are getting higher and higher. You don't tell. They feel this is already immersive. They feel this is already good. They don't have to buy a PC at home, so they stopped. They don't buy a PC. They don't buy a console. The majority of the players here, they use smartphones as PC, as console. So you can just port your game onto their smartphones and you have, 10 times more users. Why not?
Yeah,
So
go where the
design your game from scratch in this way.
Yeah, it's a very interesting idea to think about that when you're making even your PC or your console game. What will this look like on mobile? How can I make this work for me? I referenced earlier the investment program that Leyou has been undertaking, investing in studios around the world, Splash Damage in the UK. I'm interested in if you can share any sort of future plans for investment, and also when you're making an investment decision, what are the things that really determine whether you're going to commit to that studio or not?
When I was trying to acquire studios everywhere in the world, my criteria is, in China, we have a lot of game designers knowing live service, microtransactions, monetization, metagame design, but we're not well trained by those AAA production. We don't have a AAA team with more than 100 people. They worked together for more than decades. So they know how to work together. They have a lot of tool sets based on the existing engines, Crytek, Unreal, Unity. They have second wrapped, higher level tool sets to be able to help them doing high quality, big productions easier, better. But in China, most of the teams are very small because we do smartphone games, we do mobile games, we do web games. It's only 10 people, 20 people is enough, like supercells, right? We only have supercells. We don't have big ones. So I want to merge these expertise together. I want to acquire those big studios who has the experiences doing high quality production, and they don't have to already have an existing successful IP already running there, or with good EBITDA, already a very steady EBITDA. They don't have to have that. They just have capabilities of doing high AAA games, and we can provide them funding. We can provide them mindset how to design a metagame, live service type of games with monetization ready in the best way, embedded into that game design. So I started this type of acquisition way earlier than recently. Most of the other guys already started doing that, like Embracer. They acquired some studios before they are making good money. They acquired Avalanche Studio, 4A, these kind of outsourcing developers. In early years, big publishers, they don't acquire these developers because they just hire them to do co-development projects. They don't have to own them because they don't have IP. They don't have a good enough steady revenue for them to consolidate into their financials. They don't have that desire, right? But I have. I see their value. I see their value if you give them opportunity for them to do original titles, for them to be able to fully fund it, to be able to do something for their own. They will be super incentivized by having the chance to do something on their own instead of always working other people's IPs, right? And eventually they can be your power to create original IP for you, create continuous revenue, continuous good EBITDA for you. Like Wolfram, Digital Extreme, they started 1992 doing co-development, doing work for hire for other publishers, more than 20 years. but when they are given the opportunity doing something on their own, they can create some great things like Wolfram. So I see that potential. So now, companies like Embracer already started to realize, power of these companies as well. So I have to find, what is going to be the next step, for what is going to be the future value studios.
Well, that was my final. That's my final
Yeah.
question for you, Alex, today. So where is the future taking you? I mean, you're an ambitious company. You're an ambitious man. Where is the company going, and how are you going to get there?
I think for the near future, companies with steady EBITDA number, with a ready IP, with the user base, money generating machine, can always be a good target to buy in the industry. If there are still some of these type of studios or new studios coming into the stage, you're the best. You're buyers will crazy, coming to buy you. So I think near future is the possibility to create or find these type of studios for the industry, because there are crazy demands for these kind of studios, right? So if you can find these studios, create these studios, incubate, cultivate, make these studios, you will make money. You will create value. So I think if you go a little bit longer term, further future, how where are the source for more and more of these type of studios can come into these type of value assets? How you should try to target the best source direction. What are the sources? What are the most best source to eventually become, if you go back 3 to 5 years or 7 years, work for hire, huge work for hire studios with more than hundreds of people like Splash Damage, they were the best source of these type of valuable assets. But nowadays, even if before they already own the money generating machine, they already got bought by the big publishers, big buyers already. So I have to find a way to find what is going to be the future source. Who's going to be more easier creating these valuable assets. I find we have more studios here in China has the potential. Just a little bit tweak, just a little bit help. Genshin Impact, right? These kind of games can be, more and more of these studios like miHoYo will coming out. So China can be a source, because so from scratch we know how to design a live service the game. We know how to make the Western studio welcome our monetization model, versus we force them to take our wrong model. Now we know how to tweak it into the right model. We just have to hire some professional, high quality developers and try to learn how to manage them. Hundreds of people work together for years. We have that kind of experiences already. We just didn't use that wisely. So one good source is China. Chinese mobile, high-end mobile game developers, they go a little bit higher. They can jump onto AA or even AAA stage. That's one way. A second, I see a lot of good tool sets like Unreal 5 are providing more easier to use tools, like Roblox are giving you easier to use tool sets.
Absolutely,
for you to be able to create games just even if you're already locked down at home, you can make a game for your own, just on your own, right? You don't have to have a hundreds of people team. You already can create something very high end. So I think that is going to be another huge source. So a lot of UGCs will become, PUGC. So professional user will work from home alone versus work together as a OGC. We say organization generated content. We don't rely on organization. We just work from home as a PUGC, right? So I think those PUGC small studios can be another very good source to create these kind of valuable assets. So, just a little bit of my thinking, recently, just a few months after I sold this company to Tencent, I've been thinking, just a few months. I have to continue to think.
There's nothing wrong with thinking, and really fascinating to hear of you looking in the future, and hopefully the UK will form part of that future. We have a great pedigree of making video games, but can we still make sure we're at the forefront? So a big challenge for us as a country. But thank you for that insight. That's amazing, Alex, and for giving up your time today. We really appreciate it. Indeed, I'm going to bring the event to a conclusion here. I just wanted to thank firstly Creative England and Barclays, who are our partners that have allowed us to organize this event today and invite so many people on and secure such great speakers. So thank you to Dan, Tim and David. Tianyi, Alexander, Jin and Alex, fantastic set of talks today, really interesting, a real broad spectrum of viewers as well, which is fascinating. The content will be made available afterwards. This event has been recorded, so we'll make the video content available afterwards and the slides from the presenters as well. But finally, thank you to our audience for coming along. Really appreciate your time early on this day. If you're free and have an interest in the Japanese market, come back on Thursday. We have a same time start, 9 o'clock in the morning. Go to the Yuki website and find a link to an event on looking at the virtual trade opportunities here with Japan. So we look forward, but thank you very much to our speakers today and our attendees, and I wish you all a good day.
Thank you.